finance, how much money you can put toward this. All right, so first thing, bank balances are good, pretty constant. Still haven't closed the GFA loan out. We'll close that at close sewer line. So, and that's all good. We shared it number. I think
through.
Oh, yeah, Paul just has a bunch of this stuff, and we're down to half the page. I did put one change order in to put 2 gates on, I told you all to do that. On the Valance property, because he's got cattle in there.
He needs it.
Well, we need it too, because we have to have these, we don't cut the barbed wire and have to put it right back up.
You gotta go through.
So that's the only change order that, and I raised 3 manholes. So, but I don't have those numbers yet, but we had, so, we had 8% contingency, so this thing may come back under budget when you throw the contingencies out, so we'll see. So other than that, we do want to put, if you can see on here, up. So let's come back to that in a minute, unless y'all got any questions on the bank. All good. Amen to that. So, next item. What crap? And that's my question. Sorry. Sorry, right. Take out of breathe. All right. As always, the knockout 552 brings you down to a revenue of $1,047,000. I'll draw your attention to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines down premium tax insurance. We estimated $240,000, brought in $243,000. Yay, team! If I take it back up to Lost Hall, we still have 2 months to have it posted there. So we're in pretty good shape on that. She'll post that by the end of the week. So we post that, not on collection, we post that on when we balance out each month's checking account. So where we should be at 30% remaining, reality is we're at 30%, we should be at 35%, so we're in good shape in that regard. On the revenue side of it, expenditures of any consequence, again, where you ought to be at 35%, you've got 40% remaining on expenditure, so that leaves you a positive cash flow around $150,000. Sweet. So we are already started with putting historical numbers together this next year's budget development. And, good news is we're not suggesting a downturn. If anything, I'll have some numbers later in the week from Georgia Tech about what we think is going to happen in Hall County, which will be reflected, somewhat in the bank account on Hall County. Water and sewer. Same thing, we're going to be about 33%, 35% remaining. On revenue, we're in a good position at 23%. Draw your attention to line 2 and line 3 on water and sewer revenue. Obviously we were very conservative, 24 and 28%, so we're in pretty good shape on that overall. One thing that's on there that kind of throws you, look at the last line on revenue. Miscellaneous. So that is where she had misposted on the expenditures. And so that's where we paid for sewer line I, and we've been reimbursed. She was showing that as an expenditure instead of a revenue. So that kind of changes things. At the end of the day, it's she already paid out that money and got it back. So on water and sewer on expenditure, same thing, where you'll be at 35%. When you do the real numbers and you knock out the miscellaneous expense of 225, put those in, you're at 40% remaining, so you're in pretty good shape on that, which gives you a positive cash flow there of 158,000. What questions might you have? Does finance get a percentage? Is that what that's?
Not going there.
Not nearly enough. That's all we can say. Right?
Not
Not
going
nearly
there.
enough. All right. So, it was proposed, and I'm gonna put it on next week's agenda. That we look at, I think, that we look at our reimbursement expenditure. So that hasn't been upgraded since, I think, 2019.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, I've got it right here. So the problem is when you go out of town, we're using two numbers. The first number, the first column under meals, this was for Banks and Hall County or thereabouts. The second item, which is highlighted here and here, that was for Savannah, because it's a heck of a lot more expensive down there.
Nothing cheap.
Nope, nope, nope. So, you know, the guys just went up to Athens and what have you, and, you know, you probably do want to revisit those numbers, and I don't know what those numbers are. That'd be something I'd look for some direction from y'all on. So this would be done in an amendment to the ordinance, just to let you know how that works. You're probably okay on lodging. By the way, we got the notice today, Savannah will book March 30th of this month, so we'll be getting you that information in the.
That's when they start taking bookings.
Yep, that's, you know, that's how that works. We take it that one day and it's gone in 10 minutes.
March 3rd.
Yep, but I'll get you that information. You'll have it. Tansy should.
What day is that? Do you remember? What day does that start?
I think that's I don't know, we can look.
Lies in June.
Thursday.
Oh, as far as the dates,
Yeah, date.
I don't have it in front of me. Let me see if I can. He's talking about Savannah?
Savannah.
Yep,
Thursday, the 23rd through Tuesday, the 27th.
there you go.
Well, Monday's 27th. We're talking about April.
He's talking, they're talking about the actual convention in Savannah.
In
But
Savannah.
he said Tuesday 27th, actually Tuesday's the 28th. That was my,
Gotcha.
is it going through Tuesday the 28th or Monday the 27th?
So normally you would come in, if you have classes
On Thursday.
on Thursday, you might come in as early as the 27th. Because usually the classes are at 8 o'clock.
Start
They're
classes on Friday.
Thursday, well, they've offered them last year on Thursday.
That's true.
So
Cool.
anyway, but you'll have that information this week. So what do you want to do with these numbers? What are you thinking?
Is this where we are now?
This is this comes right out of your ordinance right now. I just copied that page.
Even the highlighted one for GMA and stuff like
Yeah.
that?
Same numbers.
I personally can eat dinner for $20 personally. I can.
Yep.
That different can do it for 40 out of town.
Well, and what
You
I
can't
told.
in Savannah.
Yeah, well, yeah, what I've told everybody about that is if you want to go have a steak dinner and it costs 25, just consider the city just paid 20 of it. What a deal. You know what I mean? But, you know, it's a problem. I mean, Tony, you were just in Athens. Was it difficult to acquire breakfast for $10?
I didn't spend anything.
Breakfast at the hotel was, well, on the days that they didn't provide it, was $9.80 something cents.
Well, I think breakfast runs about $20 down there in Savannah, don't you? Or more. I mean, you ain't gonna get nothing.
Nothing cheap.
For $20.
We're probably okay on lodging though. But we'll know here shortly.
Yeah. We need to up that some.
Gene?
You gonna get off and go with us?
Probably not, hang on subs.
Food needs to be,
I said,
You need to go,
I
sure.
think it needs to be up some, I don't know exactly what it should be. What are you thinking, putting it on up in there?
I'm hoping she'll be able.
What I'm saying, I'm looking at the food.
I'm gonna make plans.
I mean, how much are you saying would, it should be, what are you thinking?
wait,
On the 180, is that the one you're talking about?
no, lodging looks good.
I didn't,
Lunch, 15. I think go 25.
On just regular meals
Yeah.
outside of Savannah? What are you thinking? Joe?
that was a lot.
I wanna get a $25 lunch personally, but I've never had a $25 lunch. What does it taste like?
You already got this at 25, you got to raise it to 40 for dinner.
You look, you said this is
No,
current?
this is current for anywhere but Savannah.
Okay.
This is Savannah. That's what our current ordinance pays right now. Like I said, we're bringing it up only because Chip brought it up the other day.
Well, everything's went up. And we eat cheap. Dennis tell you that. I don't go out for them high price meat.
Well, like I said, if you want
They
to
get
have a
nothing cheap.
$25 steak, look at it this way, this city paid $20 of it. What did
You
you
pay the other $5.
That's why I don't see a problem with them personally, that's me, but I'm a cheapskate. I'm cheaper than y'all are.
Listen, I think we ought to revisit it, but I wasn't bringing it up. Chip brought it up. He made a good point. It's one of those where you almost have to go out and find breakfast in the hotel. You're gonna pay a premium. I don't think you get in Savannah. You could find a place that sells breakfast for $20, but there's 100 places outside that you can.
I'd say raise the breakfast to 20 from 17.
Do the local at 10.
Yep. So you and I, we went out at $8 and something.
Yeah, I mean,
We stopped before we got that with $8 and something.
Yeah. yeah, so I said, I never had a $25 lunch. I wouldn't know what it tastes like.
Dinner. You're gonna be able to eat dinner for $40.
One person, yeah. My wife and I both eat $40.
I can raise it to 45.
Is this per person, is this,
Oh yeah,
okay, this,
this is only pays for council members. Doesn't pay for your
They'll
wife.
pay for your wife.
I wanna make sure.
You got to turn in a receipt that matches your dollar amount.
I suggest raising the 40 to 45. Like 25 should stay about the same. Breakfast, you ought to be able to get lunch for 25.
And you're going to find GMA provides lunch a lot of those days.
A lot of them you won't have to buy.
Yep.
Get every friend you get.
Anything else you want to change?
I'm okay with it.
You good, Gene?
Whatever they say, they good with this, I'm good with it.
All right, so let's bring this to the council. In the work session, we can get their viewpoints on that as well. All right, utility fee review. So, couple of things I'm going to talk with the utility committee shortly on, and that is our tank maintenance. So our big tank up here, Chattahoochee tank, we've got that on a schedule where it gets cleaned. So that's the interior. So, and that hadn't been a problem last time we cleaned it. Believe it or not, you look for up to 3 inches of sediment in the bottom of the bowl. And anything over 3 inches, they get to charge more money for. Well, the last time we had it cleaned, we had less than 1.25 inches, which is not which is unusual rather, but we're well development, so a lot of that, we're not bringing all the sediment up. The other side of that is in December, if you remember this well, I think, we drained the tanks. So never had the first complaint about anybody getting any sedimentation and what have you. But I bring that up because we've got to get on a schedule. I've had, as I do every couple of years, maintenance companies approach us. That tank needs to be cleaned and painted. You're looking at today's money. I was going to say $80,000, but you're probably looking at $100,000 to clean it and paint it. The good news is that they've come so far with paint now that, honest, I'm not going to be the guy because we're not going to be here when this happens, Gene. But you can get paint now and put it on there and you pay up front for it and it'll last you 20 years. So, but obviously I'm going to show the utility group some pictures and we've got to spend some dollars on it to clean it up this year. Otherwise, we're going to start having metal fatigue issues. Interior of the bowl and what have you, everything is good. I talked to Brian a little bit about it earlier, and the diodes that we have down at the bottom probably are due to be replaced, so that'll be the type thing. But y'all need to know that. So when we're looking at the utility fee review in the next couple of months, that's something we've got a budget for. I've got a comparison over there right now for 8-year service agreement. If you agree to it, don't. $249,000. That's $2.14 per customer per month. That's the way I want you to look at it. What is it, what's it going to cost your customer? Because that's the person who ends up paying the bill. And $214 is probably, doesn't sound like a lot, but it is at the end of the day. So, and I think we can do it cheaper than that, but at the same, when it's cheaper, you want value. So if we can paint the tank for $100,000, you stretch that over a 5-year period and recover that cost, that's the way to look at it.
$214 for this and $285 for the meter.
Well, that all adds up. That's why I'm saying the number I'm looking at today is $2.14. Doesn't sound like a lot, but as you add it to everything else in the equation, it is. So I think we can do it for far less than that, but we've got to set some money aside to clean up that tank and paint it. Interior maintenance on it, what have you, believe it or not, there's no requirement, but we want to do it every 5 years. That's what we want to do.
What's that costing now to do that?
The last time we did it, Gene, I want to say it was right at $17,000.
That replace the divers too, or just,
That was with the divers. They used to vacuum. We didn't drain the tank back then.
you said something about diodes while ago?
So the diodes, that's separate. That's a whole different element. I have no idea what that'll cost, but all that does, that keeps the corrosion from not taking place inside your tank. So we'll have to find that out. So just be aware. So when we start looking at those fees, that's something we want to set off to the side. Carter Alley, told you the bid openings this Thursday at 10 o'clock. If we're, hopefully we'll have some numbers we can share with you Monday. But if there's, sometimes you don't want to throw the low bid out there if they don't qualify. So being it's Thursday, we may not have qualified numbers until later in the week. I don't know that. I haven't seen them yet. But let's hope we get 3 or 4 good bids in here. At worst case scenario, you get them sometime next week and we put it on the agenda for the following Monday.
Also, we run on and start like we accept the bid.
Say that again.
As soon as I get started, like we accept the bid.
So that's a good question. I had one of your contractors today call up and he wants to be done with that thing in and out before May or by the end of May. And so we'll have to see the bids will come in and we'll have some flexibility in there.
I would just say once the bid came in, once we accepted the bid.
That's up to y'all. So we could start as early with it. He's got to do his performance bond and get that in. Usually that's going to take a minimum of 2 weeks. You're probably 30 days at tops. But again, that may depend on somebody comes in, lowballs you and tells you, I can't start for 60 days, but here's my price. You may find that acceptable. But just the opposite was true. The phone call I got today, he wants to start within 2 weeks of approval. Be something y'all have to decide on, weigh that on cost. So the next item is design allotment. So what Brian does, he's an engineer, and yes, he was able to share with y'all some conceptual ideas today, but you're going to have to set some dollars aside for architectural design renderings based on some of the information we got. And I'm going to say that's about a 6-month relationship, because he's going to come back, she's going to come back, give you some ideas about, what the facade would look at like based on what you have. It really wouldn't surprise me if they change a lot of things that we were talking about tonight, adding to what y'all have talked about. But then you're going to want them here for your public comment period, and then go back and be able to take those public comments, institute those. So I think you're looking at a 6-month relationship. So what we will need to do is begin to set some dollars back aside.
Roughly what kind of money you think we need?
That's what my question goes.
Well-
Just ballpark.
I know we can't say it right now.
No, I wouldn't know. I'd say tops, you're at $30,000. And this is architectural conceptual design. So once you get down to say, yep, this is what we want A, and we want this and that and the other thing, then that becomes a whole different dollar. But I do think it's about a 6-month relationship you're going to have with them. And I have no idea what the bids will be, so that's why I put that line item in there, car rally. We've got to begin to understand what we can afford to do and to what extent. But, we ought to go out right now and with y'all's approval, we'll start interviewing some design companies that have done work for similar cities, that, and projects of our size.
I didn't bring this up earlier, but I think we ought to do a land lease for us trying to do it ourselves.
Yep.
Us putting the design out there, what we want now, let them build
Yeah,
it.
you control it. Amen.
Let them build it and operate it.
Yep.
That resolves us from,
Renting.
Amen.
Get a good price on it.
Yeah, the burden's on them. I don't think you'll get rich off a land lease. I don't, because you want them to make the investment, but at least you can define what's going to
well,
transpire.
you'll know how much money's coming in every year.
Yep.
It ain't like you got renting it today and they're gone tomorrow, whatever, 6 months from now. You can't budget anything on that because you don't know what you're going to get.
Right. So if we take this, and we bring in 2 or 3 folks that we interview for the design architect, what committee do you want that to come back to? Do you want to come back to finance? Do you want to come back in Park and Festival? Or y'all are Park and Festival, aren't you?
Or downtown. Or downtown.
Yeah, downtown beautification. I just need some direction.
Well, I think
At the end of the day, it comes back to everybody anyway.
Yeah.
all of them don't be on that. We go, got an item parking festival too, plus finance. Get downtown involved in it too.
Certainly.
I know,
Well, I'm talking about right now, I'm talking about just hiring the design consultant.
I understand that, but, they ought to be involved. I was going back to the full council. I find that you-
Well, when we do the interviews, we can't have both groups in the room. That's my
I
point.
know that.
Are you saying us? Is that what you said? Ain't that what you said?
It's Parks and Festival, not
Yeah.
finance.
As far as federal and finances, we in it together.
That's
so.
my thinking right now.
That's fine.
All right, well, everybody gets to influence it at the
Joe
end of
did.
the day, so that's the
Yeah,
good thing.
everybody gets influence every day, but, let's start with them.
So the idea is, it goes back to the public comment again.
Right.
Eventually it matures to where you've got some storyboards that you can share, some different viewpoints. And then, hopefully you have a bunch of options. And then the public gets to comment on that to the extent they can. The example was the other day, somebody said, well, we need room for 7 dumpsters downtown. Well, it's expensive property to put 7 dumpsters on, so wasn't the goal. The goal was to bring more development downtown. Certainly, we got to take care of the waste stream, but those are the type of things, public comment are going to come back. Hopefully, we'll learn from them. I think tonight was a good example of that. All right, next item. This is the fun part. And Tony's in the room. Tony. So, same thing, this is an upgraded version of what we're doing, talking about on CPUs. Are you getting it all comfortable with Joey Anderson, the IT guy?
Can y'all hear me okay? But, yeah, I am getting, the information that I needed from Joey Anderson's ACNS. I took a look at all of the items that he has proposed. The pricing that he has is within market margin, about 10%. There were a couple of things on there that were negligible. Like, I'm not exactly sure what model of switch he's using. He proposed a Meraki power over Ethernet switch, but he didn't indicate the number of ports, but it's to replace what's already here. Other items to note that were just negligible was the discrepancy between pricing of the Microsoft Office 365. There's 2 different plans on there, and the discrepancy I saw was we're only talking a couple of dollars a month, so I'm not even going to really put much into that. But the one thing that's an area of concern would be we've got on here a cybersecurity platform, an ACNS cybersecurity platform of 20 computers / servers at $24 a month. When I looked, or when I asked about, what the coverage was, he actually replied back and said that it showed 23 devices, being 21 workstations and 2 servers, which I found interesting, and he indicated that it was for all sites within the city, not just City Hall. So, Dennis, do you have any idea if we have more? I mean, obviously, we have 3 workstations in the...
We have water and sewer has 3 workstations there.
Okay. And so are there some at Public Works?
Nope.
Nowhere else. Okay, so I'm going to assume that he means that it covers up to 21 workstations and 2 servers. Because right now we're only talking about 1 server. I think there was a possibility of having a second server for the video, maybe? Because right now
We talked about it, but we haven't acted on it.
Okay.
What we talked about doing was taking the existing server and converting that to the code enforcement officer's camera only.
Well,
He didn't like that idea, but I did.
Nevertheless, he's including the $24 per device for his cybersecurity platform, which what he's indicating, if I look at it, it's Sentinel-1. I lost it. Yeah, he's got Sentinel-1 in there for essentially your antivirus, and I know there's, here I am talking, and I know that there has been some discussion about keeping cybersecurity things of that nature, an executive session. I think the state actually allows that, but I'm not telling anything that's out of the ordinary here. We're really just looking at the items that are being proposed for purchase. So he's listing Sentinel-1, he's listing Rocket Cyber for monitoring, that's information gathering and the ability to do the remote patching of the devices, which he does have included here. So I don't see anything.
You know what he's talking about? I don't.
I'm going to sleep.
Sorry. Everything that he's proposed, I see is in line, and what we should, I would think that we would need these items, on here. Ben, did he send a second proposal to you with a different price?
I haven't gotten anything different from what
Because
you,
I know he had talked about that, but what he has on here in his email response to us, I am okay with. I had questioned him on some more like cybersecurity event stuff, which I wouldn't necessarily want to discuss here. But not that we've had an event, it's just what would we do in the event of.
so I got some information today from our carrier, and I'll share that with the council, when we explore the upgrades for this year, because the problem that you're gonna find in cybersecurity and your insurance is they cap it. They don't wanna write you more than $250,000 is what it boils down to. Now, what do you get for that in addition to? Is that part of a reaction team that comes in and helps? It is, but y'all need to better understand that. That's kind of a little bit different from what we're talking about tonight.
I will say one thing, just in confidence of what ACNS can provide. Ultimately, at the end of the day, when it comes to cybersecurity, here, he even, when I asked him about incidents, he made reference to another incident that was with a county, not ours. And, his ability to recover and put everything back the way it was very quick, to, much to the dismay of the GBI, who really wanted to go in and get evidence first. So they're kind of coming up with rules and say, hey, don't recover so fast, don't repair everything. We need to be able to gather evidence and see who's doing this. So, I mean, that is a concern, but I do believe that ACNS has the capability, and what they're proposing is the right capabilities to be able to recover quickly as allowed by state and federal. So I think that, their proposal that they've given us is acceptable.
So did y'all talk about availability product? Because I think we're still 2 or 3 months.
I don't, the products that he's got on here, most of it is we're replacing Dell with Cisco Meraki systems. And I don't know where, I know that there is supply chain issues, but I think he can actually get these devices.
Well, I'll ask, because that's one of the things we need to, we don't want to do it to the end of the closeout year. Let's put it that way.
We may end up providing him with an alternate source, perhaps, because I know there are several sources that are often overlooked for these devices. And he may be able to get comparable pricing that's favorable to him and us in another avenue.
All right. Well, I can tell you this much. We're having issues with our computers now. Yes. So everything's slowed down. I mean, we're 5 years into the system. We're actually, this is year 6. So just bear that. And it's frustrating, especially when you can't do a file search and it takes you 15 minutes for the file to finally open up. That stuff's just killing us. So, necessary evil. Just look at it this way. Every 5 years, replace this stuff. We'll sleep better at night.
Can I interject one thing? I would say that, based on what I'm looking at here, as far as the server, as well as the workstations that he has proposed, you're looking at 16 gig of memory on your desktops, which is probably 4 times what you had previously. So you're definitely going to see an increase in performance there, as well as your server. You're going to 32 gigabytes of memory, multiple links, as well as an upgrade in the drive technology that he's using. He's using two particular SCSI drives that would be great for, like I said, they're mirrored and hot swappable. So if one goes bad, you just replace it. The other thing I wanted to mention was there's not a whole lot of discussion on what happens with the devices after they're decommissioned. Those are assets that the city owns, and I think the city should be able to recoup, some of the funding of these things. I don't know what the policy is on disposing of items. Now, of course, he's got a proposal in there to at least take the drives out and destroy them. Which
We always do. That's always part of it. But
the rest of the device, I think, should be sold.
so that would be something I hope you can bring some merit to, because I think I've got the old server sitting next door still and, stuff like that.
Yeah,
I
those
mean,
assets
we
can
just,
be sold.
huh?
Those assets can be sold.
Well, good. You can help.
Either
with that.
redo finances or reuse them in another capacity. Something that's not necessarily critical.
Well, I love the idea of reselling them, because we really don't have any more needs.
Yeah.
You know, same thing at wastewater, we gotta keep that updated as well, so.
Sell it rather than store it.
Yep. All right, so conceptual bypass. Need some direction here, boys and girls. We gotta do something. So that means some property acquisition, so we're not in a position, but we need to talk about it in executive session where everybody feels good, because we gotta start the ball rolling.
Yep. Been waiting for us for a year.
Too long. So do we want to put this on executive session and talk about the properties that we're considering?
Who me?
All
How
right.
about you, Joe? Gene?
When you said it, I said yes.
Yes.
All right, couple of quick things I can tell you about. They canceled the meeting for elections. I wasn't there, so it doesn't matter. Tangi and Joey were supposed to go. I didn't get an invite. And, but anyway, they canceled it. You know, the good news is if they go with this new referendum in November, then that would reduce our exposure costs from 18,000 probably down to, I say 3,000 or 4,000, but we'll have to see. Supposedly they're going to meet, and I asked Joey this morning, he hadn't been copied on this stuff, so Tangi, I reminded Tangi she needs to keep us in the loop on this, but supposedly they're trying to find a date in April. By April, the county will have made a decision whether or not they're putting this on the referendum, so good for us. Let's just see. But we won't have anything to report to you for that probably until then. So other than that, y'all got anything for me on finance?
Good night.
Get some more money. All right, yeah, utility next.
Musical chairs, everybody up.
Okay.